everyone, so today we are going to do a Christmas craft and we are going to be making Christmas cards. So sometimes we make our Christmas cards in school, but because we haven't been able to, I thought that we could make one at home. So today we're going to make a Christmas tree card. So the first thing that you're going to do is get some card or some paper and you're going to fold it in half to make a card. And now on the front of your card, you're going to start by drawing a little log for the bottom of the Christmas tree, the trunk of the tree at the bottom. So it'd be good if you had a brown, but don't worry if not, you can use any colour. I've got a black one here. And I am going to draw a little rectangle to make it look like the trunk of the tree. And then I'm going to colour it in. So it looks like the bottom of the tree. So I've just done a little rectangle on the bottom and coloured that in so it looks like the tree trunk. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get some green paint. We're going to do a hand print and put it on top of our tree trunk to make it look like a Christmas tree. Okay, so I've got my pad here to put some paint on. If you don't have one of these, that's fine. You can use a plate or something else to put some paint on. And if you have some green paint, then that's great. But if not, you can make some green using blue and yellow paint. It's sometimes quite a lot of fun to mix the colours together, so I like doing this. I'm going to get just a little bit of blue on one side. So I've got a little bit of blue on one side, and then I'm going to put a little bit of yellow on the other side, just next to the blue but not too close. So I put the blue and the yellow and I put them next to each other instead of putting them on top or right next to each other, so that I can choose how much of each colour I want. So I'm going to start with the blue. I'm going to put some of that down the bottom. I'll get some more to cover my whole hand. And then I'm going to get some yellow and put just a little bit in and see if that's the colour that I want. That's quite a dark green, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I want mine quite light. Oh, and you see when you add the yellow, it can make it a little bit lighter, a brighter green. I'm going to add some more yellow. Perfect. This looks like a Christmas tree colour, I think. So it's up to you. If you've got lots of paint, you can spread it all around your pad and then you can push your hand down into it, which can be lots of fun. Or you can use your paintbrush to paint onto your hand. I'm going to do that, so I'm going to paint all of my paint onto my hand. It can feel a bit funny doing this. It tickles a little bit with the spikes and the bristles of the brush. I'm going to try and cover my whole hand with the paint. There we go. I'm going to get all the little gaps and get the sides of my fingers a little bit just so they're painted as well. And that looks good to me. So the next step is to get your card with your trunk on it, and you're going to push down your hand and you're going to try and get your fingertips to touch the log or be near the bottom so it looks like your tree is on the log. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to push my hand down onto my card, push it down quite hard and leave it there for a little bit. You could use your other hand to pat down to make sure that all your fingers are nice and flat to make the top of a Christmas tree. Okay, and then when I feel like it's been on there for long enough, I'm going to pull my hand up and see if I've made a Christmas tree. Oh, so I'm going to unstick my hand and pull it up. And there we go, we have a Christmas tree with the log at the bottom. Now, sometimes the middle bit of your hand is a little bit raised, so when you push it down, the paint doesn't always come up. But what you can do, if you want to fill in that gap, you can get your green paint again and you can just paint in the gaps there. If you would like, you can do more than one handprint to make lots of different bristles. So you might want to get a bit more paint on some of your fingers. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to push back down onto my paper, but this time I'm going to put my fingers in a different place. So instead of pressing down straight on top of those fingers, I'm going to do it just to the side to try and get some more bristles on the bottom of my tree. So I'm going to move them down and put my fingers carefully next to the fingers that I've already done. And then I'm going to push my fingers down again, make them nice and flat, give them a good push, and then I'm going to pull it off. And now I've made some more bristles on my Christmas tree. Now, if you would like to fill in these gaps, you can use your paintbrush to paint some lines down to connect your bristles to the tree, but I'm going to leave mine like that for now. So those are the first steps, and we'll come back in a minute to do the next steps. I've got to go and wash my hand before I do the next parts. Okay, I am back and I have cleaned my hand and my handprint has now dried, so I'm ready for the next step. The next step is to add some decorations to your tree. It's a bit plain at the moment. I think we need some sparkles in here. So if you have some sequins, you can use some of those, or you could use your fingers to print some decorations onto the tree. You could use some felt tips to draw some decorations, all sorts of different things. You could add some stickers, whatever you've got at home you could use. I have got some different sequins and I have got some Christmassy ones. I think I'm going to look for the ones that are circles and squares to look a bit more like the baubles on my tree. And what I'm going to do, instead of getting my glue and putting it all over my tree and then adding my sequins on, this is a bit trickier, a bit fiddlier. I'm going to get one of my sequins on my finger. I'm going to try and put a little bit of glue on there and then stick it to my tree. That's much trickier, but it means you can be a bit more precise with where you're sticking your decorations. So there we go, and we can do a few. I'm going to do my circle and my star, and let's see which other ones I have. Oh, we do have some nice Christmassy ones, maybe a snowflake too. Christmas tree decorations, you can get all sorts of different types, so you can stick on whatever you would like onto your Christmas tree to make it look a bit more Christmassy. I love Christmas time because it's a perfect time to do lots of sparkles and shiny things. So there we go, stuck a few sequins on. I'll just show you a few, otherwise you'll be sitting here for a long time watching me stick on sequins, which might be a bit boring. So I've done some sequins on my tree, they look nice and shiny. So for my next step, I am going to get a coloured pen. You could use a pencil, you can use whichever colour you like. And we are going to draw a string, like a string that some Christmas lights might be hung on. And I'm going to do that at the top here. So I'm going to do a wavy line. Lovely, it looks a bit like waves in the water, so I've got a wavy line. And then the next step is to use your fingers to do some lights, so it's lots of fun. I think people think you can only do painting with your hands and your fingers when you're young, but that's definitely not true. It's still fun when you're much older. It's nice to get messy sometimes. So I'm going to get my fingers and I'm going to put some yellow onto this finger, and then I'm going to push it down underneath my string to make some lights on the string. Push down there. You can get a bit more paint if you want, but I think I've got enough on this one to do another one, so you don't need to use lots of paint. So I've got my two lights, and now I'm going to go with some blue, and again you can use whichever colours you like. I'm going to use some blue, stick underneath my string for some blue lights, and that little bit of blue on my finger, I could do all of those lights with it. So there we go, you've got your Christmas tree with the decorations, and you've got some lights on top to make a lovely Christmas card to give to your family or one of your friends perhaps. So I think that looks really nice, and definitely if you're adding on some more decorations, that will look really Christmassy. So thank you for watching, I'll see you soon.